Good day, folks. Welcome to Bright's Mind Academy, where we bring brilliance to every lesson. In today's video, we're going to look at another question under a hyperbola function. All right, so it reads as follows. Consider g of x. It is given as that one. All right, you are given just an original equation without any the value of p, q, or a. Now, these are the information, the following information of G is given. So this information, it is with regards to G, and I want to believe this information is the one that is going to help us to do what? To find the value of what? Of A, P, and Q. Now, the following information of G is given. Now we have the domain. As x is an element of real numbers where x is not equal to -2. The second one, x-intercept, we have that one. Y-intercept, we have that one. Before I do this, I just remember now that they are talking about the domain. If I'm having a hyperbolic function like this, in grade 10, we used to say, if this is my x, this is my y, and I have my function maybe like this. Maybe my function like this. We used to say the domain of this function, will be given as, remember domain, it is everything. I take my ruler. I usually teach this with a ruler. I say, remember your ruler, you will straighten it again. I'm saying my domain, it is everything, this English, everything from the x, negative x, right? From the left hand side. I say from the left hand side, where is my function? Sorry, where can I get my function? My function, it is at negative infinity. Here I have my function. Watch my ruler as well as my blue function. Here's my function. It is there from negative infinity. We agree here at this is negative infinity, right? All right, from negative infinity, I have my graph. As I move towards the right, I'm still having my graph. But when it reaches this point, my graph, it is going to a value that I do not know. But let's agree on one thing. The value of the graph does not touch this line. We agree that the graph, this graph here does not touch this line. Again, so my graph does not touch my y-axis, and I know at my y-axis, my x, it is equal to 0. So it means my graph moves from negative infinity, then jumps this line. This line of x, it is equal to 0, then goes to the other side here. Can you see where it is continuing here? We left it here, but it is continuing where? Here. Here is our function, continuing there. Again, all right? Continuing there, continuing up to what? Up to infinity. All right? Up to what? Up to positive infinity. Now, if that's the case, what is my domain in this case? I'm going to say my domain, it is x is an element of real numbers. So it means x is an element from negative infinity to infinity, but my x was not equal to 0. It jumped that 0 point. All right? This is what they are trying to tell me. And now remember this, it is my vertical asymptote, this one. You all agree with me? This is my horizontal asymptote in grade 10. All right? Yes, this is my domain. My range for this function, I used to say range, it is everything. Range is everything from bottom to top. From bottom to top. Look, from bottom, here's my graph at negative infinity. You all agree? At negative, sorry, let me remove this. At negative infinity here. Then here it is infinity. You all agree with me at this point, y it is equal to 0. This line y it is equal to 0. You all agree with me, right? Then I say, I'm going to move. Where am I starting? From negative infinity. My graph is going to negative infinity. I go. And my graph does not touch which line? Y is equal to 0. All right? So I jump that y is equal to 0 line, which is the x-axis. Then I come back, it continues up to y, up to positive infinity. So it means my range, it is y is an element of real numbers or positive infinity, negative infinity to infinity, but my y did not touch my what? My 0 point. So where am I going with this? So in this case now, I am told that I have a function, and that function has a domain of y is an element of real numbers, x is an element of real numbers, but my x is not equal to 2. This value here, this, it is your asymptote, this one. Remember, why am I saying this is your asymptote? Because your graph, it is everywhere but does not touch your what? Your asymptote. So this -2, it is your what? It is your asymptote. So I'm gonna have an asymptote at y x, it is equal to -2. This is my asymptote. This is what I have from the information. This is me interpreting my what? My information. This is my asymptote. All right. If that's my asymptote, let's see another information that I'm given. I'm given that the x-intercept at k, it is 1 and 0, 1 and 0, 1 and 0, somewhere here. 1 and 0, 1 and 0. This is my k. All right. Then I'm told that my y-intercept at n, it is 0 and -half. 0 and -half, and -half is too far, but I'm not up. 0 and -half. 0 and negative half, this point here. This is 1 and 0. I know it is not up to scale, but yeah, please. Let me write it somewhere here. K, it is 1 and 0. So, this is all what I have. All right? This is all what I have. Let me see. Now, they say to us, show that the equation of G is given as dash 1. Do not forge. 6 marks. You forge, you get 1 mark from the forging, or 0. So let's see how can we go about this one. All right. One thing for sure that I can also complete 5.1. Remember, if I'm having x, it is equal to -2 as my asymptote. Remember that x plus p, it is equal to 0. But now my x, it is how much? It is -2 from the asymptote. Therefore, p is equal to 2. I have found the first one. I have found the first one that says p is equal to +2. All right. Now that I have found that one, what can I do? Let's see. Oh, I am told that my x-intercept here. All right. Is it gonna help me? Let me see. My y-intercept, I let x equal to 0. X-intercept, I let y equal to 0. Then it's gonna be. All right. I think simultaneous equation will work here. From here, I think simultaneous equation will work. Now, I'm gonna say, now my function, since well I know the value of b, I can say my function, it is g of x for now. It is equal to -3 divided by x plus 2 plus what? Plus q. For now, because I only found the value of p, right? Of p, which is 2, right? Then I come here and say sub k, it is equal to 1 and 0. When I sub k, it is equal to 1 and 0, I'm going to say, I'm going to have this 0, it is equal to -3. X, what is the value of x? Oh, sorry. Here we do not know this value. We do not know this value, sorry. This value, it is a for now. We do not know it, all right? Then, sorry, I almost stole an information. This is a, all right? But what is the value of x? The value of x, it is 1. Plus what? Plus 2. Plus what? plus q. So you see that I have two variables, a and q. All right, I can see. Luana, you can see. So I can take one information to, all right, let me do this. I can say when I continue, negative k, negative q rather, it is equal to a divided by 3. Therefore, a, it is equal to, you all agree with me, when I multiply to the other side, it's going to be negative 3q. Again, this is my first equation. My first equation, let me do this. My first equation, I have two unknowns. All right. My second equation, I'm going to say sub n as negative 1 over 2. Sub n as 0 and my comma crest 0 and negative 1 over 2. This is me subbing n. I'm subbing this n I'm substituting subbing this n as 0 and negative 1, and I know it is my y-intercept again. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna go back to this equation, this one. I'm gonna substitute from that equation. So it's gonna be what, my y in this case, it is negative half. My y in this case, it is negative half. It is equal to a, oh, let me do this. I want you to see something. Negative 1 divided by 2. A divided by, what is my x? My x is 0. I'm subbing this part. Plus my p, I know it is 2 plus q. Can you see that I have two unknowns again? So this means now I can work simultaneously on this part. Now, how can I maneuver around this one? All right. Do you all agree with me? Let me do this. This is negative 1 divided by 2. It is equal to a divided by 2 plus q. Do we agree? Can I just multiply everything? Multiply everything by 2 to avoid this decimal. All right. So when I multiply everything by 2, we just take everything of the denominator. These 2 will cancel, these 2 will cancel. These 2 will cancel that 2. All right. This will give me what? Negative 1. It is equal to, these 2 will cancel these 2. It will give me what? A. Plus these 2 multiplied by this q rather, is going to be what? 2q. Again. So I'm going to, I want to find a on, leave a by itself. When I leave a on this other side, it's going to be a. It is equal to, when I take this one to the other side, it's going to be negative q minus 1. So can you see, this is my equation 2. Can you see that this is the second equation? I have a and q. Again, so I'm going to take the first equation and say equation 1, it is equal to equation 2. Why am I saying they are equal? Because they are both equal to a, all right? So the first one, what is the value of a equal to on the first one? It is equal to negative 3 divided by q. Again, negative 3q rather. Hey, but negative 3q. But a here, it is equal to what? A here, it is equal to negative 2q minus 1. Remember, simultaneous, you can do it however. All right. Then now, what I'm going to have here, when I take this negative 2q to the other side, is going to be negative q. It is equal to, when I leave this q, this part to the other side, is going to be negative 1. Therefore, my q, it is how much when I divide by both negative 1? My q, it is 1. My q, it is 1. All right. Now that I have q as 1, I sub q, it is equal to 1 to any equation. I can come here and sub it to this one. It is straightforward again. A, it is equal to negative 3q. So I'm going to say a, it is equal to negative 3. What is the value of q? The value of q, it is 1. Therefore, the value of a, it is equal to what? Negative 3. I found the value of what? Of A. So let me do this. I know my P it is 2, P it is 2, Q it is 1, A is equal to 3, negative 3. So I'm going to say therefore G of X it is equal to negative 3. This is the value of A divided by X plus 2 plus what is the value of Q there? The value of Q it is 1. Let's see. Negative 3 X plus 2 plus 1. Is it what we were required to prove? Yes. Negative 3 X plus 2 plus 1. 6 marks. You had to work. You had to work for this 6 marks. All right? If you did not get that one, please go back to the video. Please go back. Please go back and watch again. What do you say in this proper English? I agree we have fast forward when you do this. You can fast backward or slow backward. But yeah, please rewind back to the video if you did not understand any of that 5.1 and try to make it sync. Try to make it sync. Let me do this clear page. All right. Also here clear page. All right. Good. Now we have answered this one. 6 marks. I worked a lot. But I believe you are following. And I strongly believe you are following. Now they say write down the range of G. The range of G. Now remember, I said for hyperbola. For hyperbola, your domain will be X is an element of real numbers, but your X should not equal to negative P. So whatever the value of P is here, you're going to say negative of it. If your value of P it is 2, it means your X should not be equal to negative 2. I get, but on your range, you're going to say Y is an element of real numbers, but your Y should not touch the value of Q, because the value of Q remains unchanged on the graph again. So yeah, in this case, what is the value of Q? The value of Q it is 1 again. So you're gonna say Y is an element of real numbers, but your Y should not equal to 1. Or someone might say Y is an element from negative infinity to infinity, but your Y should not equal to 1. Or someone might say Y is an element from negative infinity to 1, then from 1 to infinity. But do not use this. You'll use it when you continue with mathematics or when you do engineering at the university level thereof, or when you do medicine or whatever that includes mathematics. And I think specifically, yeah. If you do math, you might see different intervals. But here the answer, it is Y is an element of real numbers, but Y should not equal to 1. I repeat, your range and domain will always be like this for your hyperbola. It will always be X is an element of real numbers for the domain, but your X, therefore X should not equal to negative of the value of P, whatever the value of P it is. If your value of P it is negative 4, it means here you should say therefore it should be X should not be equal to negative of negative 4, which is X is not equal to 4. Then for the range it is straightforward. All right, now we have answered that. 5.3 says to us, determine the equation of H, which is the axis of symmetry. All right, is the axis of symmetry written like this, not like this? Axis, but either way it's fine, right? However, the English, the axis of symmetry of G in the form of Y is equal to mx plus c, where m is greater than 0. This information is very important. M is greater than 0, so it means I have a positive gradient. So now let me remove this. or let me write it here, or is an element of real numbers. Let me remove it. You can pause the video. So how do I find the axis of symmetry? Remember I said you take this from the previous videos. I say you take this and you say y it is equal to, if they want you of the positive gradient, you just take x plus 2 as it is inside the bracket. Then you say plus 1. Then you say, what is this? This is x plus 2 plus 1 plus 3. You are done. You are done. 3 marks. The value of P and Q, 3 marks. 3 marks. Or someone might say, I want to use this one. Y it is equal to mx plus c. There are 2 ways of doing this. I prefer the first one. It's straightforward. So how can I find this? This one I know the gradient it is equal to 1. I said the gradient always it is equal to 1 of the axis of symmetry. So I'm going to say y it is equal to x plus c. How do I find y and x? Y and x, I repeat, are your asymptotes. Now, what are my asymptotes? My asymptotes are a -2 and 1. Why am I saying that? X it is equal to -2 when I solve for this one, then y is equal to 1 when I solve for that one, horizontal and vertical asymptote. Then I'm going to say, all right, I substitute to this value, this formula here. I'm going to say y it is 1, it is equal to -2 plus c. Again, yes. What is the value of c now? The value of c is going to be this -2 when it goes to the other side is going to be 3. Therefore, I now know the value of c. Therefore, I'm going to say, therefore, y it is equal to x plus 3. So this is more or less the same, but I prefer using the first one. All right. What if the examiner said to us, let me see how many, all right, there is no much time left. So instead, let me just leave. Oh, let me do this as quick as possible. What if the examiner said to us, where m is less than 0? Where m is less than 0, we're going to do this. We're going to say y it is equal to negative of what? X plus 2 plus 1. Then you solve. All right? Yes. Now, these questions, normally, they like to say they are difficult. So it's fine. If they are difficult, it's fine. Let's see. Y is equal to x plus 3. Write down the coordinate of k prime, the image of k. So now I know k it is what? K it is 1 and 0. K it is 1 and 0. And now, they want k prime, which is the image of k reflected over h. So they want the image of k prime of k, which is k prime, reflected across over y it is equal to x plus 3. So I'm gonna make you. I'll just show you how to do this simple. Do a line like this. They have told you that your y is gonna be x plus 3. You are reflecting across this line, right? Yes. Now, solve for x in this equation. When you solve for x in this equation, you're gonna get that x it is equal to, when I take this 3, it's gonna be y minus 3. So how do I get k prime? How do I get k prime? I move this x, this one, it is 1 here again. But in this case, they say the value of y minus 3. So if you want to find the value of k prime, the x value of k prime, you're gonna substitute y from this value here. Then you get that x. I repeat, the first thing that you do, you are reflecting across this line, okay, which is y is equal to something. Then write that equation as x it is equal to something also. When you want the value of x, which is this x of k prime, you're gonna substitute the y of k to this equation, which is 0. So when you substitute y as 0 here, you get what? Let's do it. x it is equal to 0 minus 3, which x is equal to negative 3. Again, so the x value here, it is how much? Negative 3. Then when you want the y value of the k prime, you substitute x as whatever the xk value is there. Then you substitute x as how much? As 1. So you're going to say y it is equal to, what is the value of x? The value of x, it is 1. 1 plus what? Plus 3. Then, sorry, how much do you get? You get 4. So the value here, it is negative 3 and what? And 4. All right? That's how you find it. That's how you find your values there. Now, let's say they say to you, remember normally they like to say reflect across the line, the y-axis, across the y-axis. Remember, across the y-axis, it is where x it is equal to 0 again. So, where x it is equal to 0, let's say we had a point k1 and 0. So I know I have x is equal to 0 only. Why? We do not have any y again. So it means what I'm gonna reflect here, it is my what? This one I'll explain it on the next video. I don't want to waste time. I will try to find a question that has this reflection and we'll see it there. All right. Yeah, but for this one, I wanted you to see this, that every time when they say reflect across the line y is equal to something, y is equal to x plus 3 or whatever, do this. Do this, then you'll get your correct answer. So thank you very much, folks, for watching our YouTube video today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I liked this question because it was more or less trickier. This question you can get it from I think it is May, June. This is for those who were writing in the year 2022. All right. So thank you very much, folks. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can get more videos based on what we're gonna be talking about in that particular video thereof. All right. Thank you very much, folks.